Welcome to the Power Chamber Podcast.
The only PCP that signs its high score, PCP.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. Very good. Had no idea.
I was going to go with ASS, but I don't think that's going to work for this show. So.
No.
Yeah, welcome back.
It. Yeah.
We just saw Megaranger
Yes.
a few days ago. We finished it up.
Yes.
It was really good. I liked the show.
It was fun. I think you had
Season
said
4 of the Sentai that we've seen.
that you've seen.
Yeah, that I've seen. 5 for you.
Yeah.
I came in on the best season.
I remember. You don't know.
So far.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe Gingaman's amazing. Who knows?
Find out.
I liked Car Ranger. Car Ranger was fun.
Car Ranger was fun for a parody
Was
show.
a big ball of just high energy and comedy.
Yeah, I agree. Megaranger was a nice reprieve from all of that stuff. It took, a real serious tone and told a story.
Yeah.
It was lots of fun.
You had mentioned early on when we started watching this show that it's basically the most Power Rangery of the Sentai that we've seen because they're actual high school students.
Yeah. With
teenagers
the, science
with
fiction,
attitude. Yeah.
superpower stuff.
That is true. Yeah.
I stand by that statement because
I agree with you on
all
that.
of the other ones, it's been like their job to be Power Rangers. Like they're a military force, except for Kaku Ranger.
They were secret.
For some reason, they were secret. And they traveled around in a food truck.
Yeah. And then there's, the unremarkable civilians of Pegasus.
Pegasus Auto.
I love that. I'm glad that we brought those. Man, that crossover was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
All the hallmarks.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I really wanted to get to when we were watching the show was how are the Car Rangers going to interact with these people?
Yeah.
And it was actually well worth the wait. I liked it a lot.
But let's go ahead and talk about Megaranger first.
Yeah. So it centers around some high school students.
Yeah.
Go figure. Hanging around out in an arcade. Very Power Rangers.
Video game.
Yeah, playing a video game called Megaranger.
Yeah.
Power Rangers, but like Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah.
And they like fight each other. I guess there's only 5 characters in the game.
No, there's monsters in the game.
Oh, okay. There's monsters also in the game.
I just did this for the whole video.
Yeah. Rocking back and forth.
I'm not gonna do that.
Don't do that. That's very.
But we open on Kenta. Who's like apparently he's really good at this video game. He gets super high score or whatever.
Right.
And apparently that catches
a crack shot.
That catches the attention of Nasada.
Nasada,
like an actual thing.
The for real space station
force
thing.
Yeah.
Nasada, you remember?
Such a weird thing. I had no idea that's where they went.
That's where they
thing.
got the name.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. There's also a lot of English in this show.
Well, yeah.
Which is weird. We hadn't had a whole
There's
lot
American
of that.
actors in this show apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what the junk. Aside from.
But
Kaku Ranger. What was his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that guy's name was. Who tried to speak English.
I know. It was it Jakku or something like that? Yeah.
It was like
It
Shelton
was like a J
or something.
No,
I don't remember.
It's like Shelton. You were calling him. Oh no, it's Jiraiya is what it is.
Oh yeah, Josiah. That's right.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, I knew I needed a minute because I know it started with a J. No, we don't have like a character like that.
No,
for
we
this
just get
show.
random characters.
But we have Kenta. He gets picked up by Nasada, and they're like, "No, this isn't a video game.
Yeah, it's not a video game. It's real."
They were like,
"It's
a training program."
Yeah.
To figure out who the next Mega Ranger are, and then these 4 other people show up
out of nowhere. They're on a field trip, but he knows who they are. Like they end up, being
high
classmates.
School students,
yeah. They spend a lot of time at the school, hanging out with the teacher and doing class stuff, and it's actually it's a lot of fun.
Well, what I thought was going to happen early on is because we spent most of the time in the first episode just focusing on Kenta.
Yeah,
this is the only person who ever gets an introduction. Everybody else just kind of shows up.
They fall.
So I was like,
line.
"Oh, this is going to be like O-Ranger or Car Ranger to an extent."
To an extent.
Where it's like, oh, the Red Ranger is the most important. I mean, just in terms of like, because Kenta comes off more comedic as a Red Ranger,
right,
than we've had in the past, which I feel like is a direct response.
He's very like
to
laid
Kyosuke.
back, kind of jokey.
Yeah. He's not taking things seriously. He's your typical slacker.
Yeah.
But later on in the show, when we actually do get focus episodes, they do a really good job of building who these people are, which I really like.
All of these characters go somewhere by the end of the show. We actually, build stuff, even if it's kind of dumb.
Okay.
Like the test thing, like that was just,
yeah. Well,
they put a lot of focus, and I think it's a cultural thing.
It's absolutely a cultural thing.
They put a lot of focus on how like the schooling, and if you don't do well on your tests, you're gonna live in a dumpster or some such nonsense. Yeah. And it's just goofy,
because we get to a point, because they're obviously high school students, and they have this mentor guy who's like
he's their teacher.
He's very happy that they're that they want to take this seriously and be superheroes, but at the same time he understands how important high school is. So there's a point where he's like, oh no, these guys have to take a test. They can't be going on patrol with the rest of the team. And he's like, of course, schooling's more important.
Duh. We can't go save the world. We got the SATs or something.
We were sitting here and being like, man, priorities.
Right.
Fate of the world.
Immediate threat.
There's an interdimensional aliens trying to take over the world or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys can't be so very... But like I would say the last act of the show is very focused on.
That's interesting because they're not interdimensional aliens or some such nonsense.
They are interdimensional, though.
They're interdimensional, but I think they're from the digital world. They're like viruses that manifested themselves.
I don't think so. Well, because you've got the doctor guy.
It's a long, long, long process to get to the end. Right.
Well, this is one of the longer ones that we had.
Yeah, we build a lot on the villain, particularly in the series, to tell the story of how this guy went insane and transported himself into the digital world.
Are you sure? Well, no, because they say it's another dimension. I don't think they say it's a digital world.
Became the Digimon Emperor, and then started like whipping people.
Okay,
and putting up these huge spire things. It was so weird. And then the Rangers came up and they were like, "I'll stop you. We'll stop you," because they're the Power Rangers.
Hey,
you
wasn't going to stop you with that. That's not what happens. They say it's another dimension, so it's interdimensional, and there's this big creature thing. Like, they don't ever talk about technology. I know that they say that their powers are based on devices or whatever, but they don't really run with it, which I guess is a good thing since this was adapted into space, and they don't really have to touch on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's an interdimensional thing that this scientist, because basically the mentor guy, along with this other guy, they were working on how to access this separate dimension.
I'm sure the mentor has a name, but they just call him Osan.
Yeah, they call him Old Guy. Yeah,
throughout the show. So
no, he definitely has a name. They say it a couple times.
I don't know what his name is. It's Osan, but his partner, they were working on some sort of portal.
Yeah, no, they were trying to access this dimension, and I guess for some reason he just goes off. He's like, man,
I'm gonna
screw this place. I'm just gonna go through it, and he goes into the other dimension, whatever, and the mentor, Old Guy, thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
Until
he actually goes insane.
Yeah, until he goes insane.
Builds these
robots.
These robot creature things.
Yeah, the girl.
The girl
and,
one.
Ecliptor.
Is it Shibolba?
Yes.
Yeah, Shibolba and Ecliptor.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
And then basically he comes back and he hates humanity now, and he decides that he's going to take over the world.
For letting him go into the dimension that he rushed into.
It's very Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Is the idea.
Yeah.
But he's trying to take over the world for this other race of beings that are the monsters, with this giant overlord guy that he ultimately ends up killing. Because
we don't actually see him. He's just an eye on screen. It's like if Sauron had killed Sauron in the Two Towers. We never actually got to see that guy manifest.
But it's ultimately just a big revenge thing because, this show... So this probably has the most examples of things that we just ripped straight from the Sentai.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
adapting into Power Rangers.
Like, down to the costumes.
Yeah, no, it's the exact same.
It's
like,
crazy.
We would take episodes, and they'd be the exact same episodes. It's just that we changed the location and the cast.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we did. Because there's the grandmother episode, which is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Down
to the costume. Like, she's got these giant earrings and the overalls with the pink and... Yeah, it's over the top and outrageous.
Well, no. That one is the one with the date. That's the one you're thinking of. With the tank that shows up. Yeah.
The pigtails, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
In the building.
The whole date thing, even down to the characters that actually go somewhere. Jiro and the other guy. Shitaro, I think was his name.
Probably.
But
yeah.
The big guy doesn't talk. The little dude does the talking.
Yeah, well, we straight up take that whole thing,
that entire thing, even though these characters go somewhere else by the end of the show. We just take this one episode with these characters and put them in space.
Yeah,
why not?
And then there's like the episode.
And, they do it kind of. I mean, they're pretty much the same down to the lines. Yeah. Oh my God! It's the Mega Rangers. You saved us. You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's interesting because we had a couple of things in O Ranger. I think there was like one episode that was a little bit like an episode in Zeo. But it wasn't like the exact same thing.
Right. But
these are the episodes that are like taken exactly from how they were originally, but we just kind of we translated them is basically what happened.
That's all we did. We reshot them.
There are certain things that we do that is different, like with Carlos and the little girl. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
it has to do with Kenta.
It's actually the Red Ranger plot.
Yeah.
And
as opposed to being about Carlos in space, but I think the Carlos thing ultimately works.
Yeah.
Mostly because they build on it and go somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. Kenta they do the whole thing with the hospital, like just out of nowhere. It's very rushed and kind of, but I mean, storytelling, whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. Can you imagine Andros doing this plot?
No. I don't imagine that Andros would give a little kid the time of day.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah, and then there's like other stuff that we use, like obviously the big one is I was very surprised that the Psycho Rangers are like legit, like in terms of their whole story is exactly the same.
Exactly the same, down to taking the power from the big bad of the season, being Dark Spectre in space, but the giant eye creature. What do they call him? Jabius?
Yes.
Jabius eye.
You should put a disclaimer here and be like,
we don't speak Japanese.
I'm just saying yes. I don't actually know if these are the names. It sounds correct. But yeah, no, it's exactly the same. Except we go immediately into them being ghosts, and then we take like an episode or whatever once they're defeated. It's like the last thing that we do is the whole thing.
It's like the very last thing that we do is the Dr. Himmler trying to turn people into data cards, which was in space, bringing the Psycho Rangers back through that machine, also in space, just willing themselves into existence, down to putting them in the power cards. And also Silver, the 2.5 minute thing. That also is straight from Mega Ranger. It's very strange. I forget what explanation they had for that, though. Me too. They were just like, it's so powerful, you can only use it for 2.5 minutes at a time. Before it needs to recharge or something.
What did you think about the Silver in this one? I mean, in terms of the Sixth Ranger, because I feel like Sentai is a place where like the Sixth Ranger doesn't really matter. Because I mean, I get that we had like Burai in Zyuranger, which is like exactly like very tied in with the Red Ranger and his whole story, and that whole thing works. And then there's Die Ranger with Ko. And he's got a whole thing, but everybody's got a story in there.
Right, yeah. Everybody's doing something in that show.
Immediately after that, everybody else is just kind of like, it's the core five, and then there's this other guy so we can sell toys.
Well, I argue that Car Ranger kind of took the whole Sixth Ranger concept.
It's a funny joke, I get it, that they went nuts with it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what the point they were making, that they can keep introducing all these people, but we really don't care about them. It's just this main core group of people.
Yeah.
But like with O Ranger, with Kaku Ranger, with even this, like I don't think that the Sixth Ranger really adds a whole lot.
No, not really. I do agree. They're Silver in this particularly is very, very absent. Despite how his character is supposed to be. He's a Disney princess. He doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. He wants to go through something else.
Well, he's supposed to be part of the scientific division, and he's part of the lunar base and whatever.
But he wants to be on the field.
Yeah.
So he does
come on the field, and he just kind of shows up and is like Mr. Cool Guy and whatever. Yeah. And he's always got this jacket, and he's throwing out one-liners left and right. But he ultimately doesn't really go anywhere.
Or do anything.
At least with Zane, they wrote him out.
Yeah.
They were like, you've got to deal with these refugees. That had to be why, because
they don't have the footage.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So,
the guy would just be gone for long periods of time, and then he'd show up. Well, because I feel like we're just repeating ourselves. That's why I wanted to bring that up, because the Six Rangers always do this. Like, they'll just disappear. Especially when the Rangers are getting their ass kicked by these Psycho Rangers.
Oh, yeah. During the entire Psycho Ranger plot, for a good 2 or 3 episodes, that guy is just gone.
At the beginning,
At the beginning, when the first 5 show up, he doesn't show up to help the Rangers. He just is gone. He's in the lab or on vacation. I think that's what they said. He was on vacation, right?
In one of them, yeah.
In one of them, he was on vacation. He had just gotten back, or some such nonsense.
Which is weird, because I feel like he's got enough charisma to make it work.
Right.
He's just not on screen.
He's just not on screen, ever.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard to like the guy.
Yeah. That's my whole spiel on that. But no, by the end of the season, we do get into this weird place where, the villains find out who the Mega Ranger are, because they do the whole secret identity thing. Because again, Power
they do
Rangers.
It properly. For real this time.
Yeah, instead of the joke with the Car Ranger.
Yeah, they try to keep their identity secret from everybody. And it does come into play sometimes. They'll be talking to somebody at the school, and Morpher will go off. Very subtle stuff like that. It's never, out in the open like Car Ranger. Yeah. But at the end of the season, the villains find out who they are and track them down to the school.
Yeah, and attack them.
Get them expelled.
Yeah, well, because they basically reveal their identities to people working at the school, and the school people were like, you shouldn't be here because you'll just bring danger and whatever. So they get kicked out. And this really puts, everybody in a down state, including Osan, because he's like, man, I ruined your life because you can't be in high school. And I can't.
Yeah. Sorry.
I feel like
stay in school, kids.
The Ranger reveal was better in space.
In space.
But it was a whole big thing.
Right. There was the end of the world and stuff. This wasn't quite the end of the world. We were getting there.
But eventually, because they get kicked out of school and everybody hates them, and
they're all shamed and
they're
stuff.
Like, oh man, why do we even have
people killed?
Why do we even be superheroes?
Yeah, why do we even need supers?
It takes the Silver Ranger to make them realize that they need to do this to protect the world and whatever, and peace and justice and blah blah blah.
Right. And pizza.
And pizza. And eventually they do come into it. They come back into the fight. They fight Dr. Hiller in a mech suit. I think he's got a giant robot.
Yeah, he's got a giant. Yeah. He's got his own evil Megazord.
As you do.
As you do.
By the way, he's got a monster form.
Yeah. At the end of the season.
That's the same monster from Galaxy that we used in the first episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's very surprising, because I was not expecting that. Yeah. I was not expecting that we would take a costume, not use it where the Sentai had him, but just use it for something else. Well, I also don't know why they had the costume to begin with, because he transforms once.
Yeah, just the one time.
That lasts 2 minutes.
2 minutes. That's
and then he gets back into the Dr. Himmel thing.
He does really nothing. He just kind of walks menacingly through the city or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that suit on standby, along with the White Ranger suit from Die Ranger. So let's do what we got.
That's a good point. Yeah. I'm really happy with the whole Psycho Rangers thing.
But yeah, I'm super interested in Gingaman, how they handle the whole the Punisher thing.
Oh yeah,
the Magna Defender.
That's right. We do have to kind of get into the Punisher, don't we?
I'm very excited to get into that after Mega Ranger, because again, Mega Ranger's a really good show. This is more of what I was wanting from Super Sentai. This is a strong number 2 on my list.
This is a good Power Ranger show, I think. Yeah, it does what it needs to, I think, effectively. And while I really wish that the Silver Ranger was more effective, I think I have the same complaint about Space, so that's kind of even. Yeah. But they go back to school. Everybody's all happy that the evil's defeated, and then they just kind of graduate. And then there's the Car Ranger thing, which is the last thing. So we save the crossovers for the last, just to make sure that we don't step on any potential spoilers.
Yeah.
So we always watch that last, and it was really fun because you have basically this evil biker dude come down to Earth.
Yeah.
And he's trying to steal this egg that can grant wishes.
Yeah, and it's then, a dragon troll creature.
Yeah. But the Mega Rangers show up to stop him, and then the Car Rangers show up to get the egg, and it's all crazy and fun.
Yeah. Pour water on it.
Yeah.
Rub it.
It's a really complete story, and it's also the first time we do the actual versus thing because they get their minds taken over and whatever. And I feel like, I don't know if you could have done this story for Space. I feel like you couldn't just based on where the story went. But it would have been something to do like a one-off because we have the Turbo Rangers being separate from
for a one-off monster. I definitely think we could have used that.
Yeah.
We just we couldn't do the crossover for Space is the problem because those guys are those guys.
That's right. We could have just put the suit and use that to a different extent. Like that's another thing I forgot to mention this. Darkonda. That's the other one.
Darkonda. Yeah.
He's kind of the same.
Kind of the same.
He lasts a lot longer in Space than he does in Mega Ranger. Because the way they do it is that they poison him, same as they do in Space, except the mutation that he goes through is permanent. And once he's dead, he's dead. Yeah, he doesn't have like the extra lives thing.
Yeah, the talons. That Camille eventually takes. That's not the same show.
No, we'll get there.
We're telling you that. I can't wait.
If you want to, we can watch the Five Deadly Venoms because it's on Netflix.
Oh yes, we'll do that eventually.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed this show. It was a really good watch. It's like what you said. It's a good way. It's a good transition from Car Ranger because I was really afraid that we would go too far in a comedic direction. Bouncing off of Car Ranger, but it does a really good job of getting to the serious stuff when it's there.
I hope Gingaman does well.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want this to be the downslope, but I am prepared for it. I think Gingaman would be the time to take a misstep, personally.
You think so?
Definitely.
With the Punisher?
With the Punisher stuff, I think the Punisher stuff is going to be the best part of the show.
Oh, maybe.
It's going to come out of nowhere and be like.
Do you think that's going to be the last thing that we do? The Punisher?
No. Sixth Ranger stuff is...
Well, no, his death scene, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of ordering.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sentai speculation.
We'll find out about that, and you can join us.
Yes.
When we do the live reactions of Gingaman.
Yeah.
Hit us up on the Patreon for the link. It might take a little while for us to get on that. Exactly, yes. Yeah. We got big plans.
Yes. Big plans.
It's ominous.
Thank you for joining us on the Power Chamber Podcast.
I'm Ice Jabandi.
And I'm Nick, a.k.a. Iron Bat 1993. May the Power Chamber protect you. Install!
Oh, God.